morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. My name is Aparna, and welcome to my kitchen. I have never done this before, so I wish you could see behind me about this kind of jerry-rigged setup we have going on to get the camera like this. But I am super excited to cook with you today and just chat a little bit about semester at sea. So before we get started, I will introduce myself. So I sailed as a student in fall 2005, best voyage ever, obviously. And I sailed again in spring 2013 as a staff member, as the Alumni Development Coordinator, and that time I got to sail with my husband, which was amazing. So this is a family affair for us, and we recently sailed on a leg of fall 19 with our daughter. So it really is, semester at sea is part of our family and has been for the last 15 years and will be for the rest of our lives. So I am really excited to share that with you and to be on the Semester at Sea Facebook Live channel and Instagram channel today to welcome you into my kitchen. The other thing that's super exciting about today, I'm sure you have seen this, is that today is our one day for the crew. So this is a fundraising effort where the funds will go to a crew appreciation fund. So as you know, this last voyage ended a little bit early, and so we want to make sure that the crew is shown the appreciation that they so deserve through this fund, which will go towards their gratuities that they missed because of the voyage ending a little early. So I know if you're an alum or even parent, family member of an alum, you have heard about how amazing our crew is. So I encourage you to donate today. The website you can go to is waves.semesteratsea.org. So sorry, waves to give, WAVES to TOGIVE.semesteratsea.org. You can check out their Facebook or Instagram. It's also posted there. So waves to give.semesteratsea.org to donate to the crew today. And it's fitting that we are doing a cooking demonstration because that is one of the million things they do for us. They feed us, they keep us safe, they are just such an integral part of every voyage. I think that is an undeniable fact that comes out of each voyage. I think anybody you meet will just speak so highly of the crew. It was amazing for us to go back on fall 19, so 15 years after I sailed as a student, and there were some of the same crew members there, and just their passion for the program and their just service to us and their kindness, and they're just amazing human beings, and we value them so much, and I hope that you consider donating today. So let's get started. So what are we going to cook today? So I was thinking about lots of different recipes, but I decided to go with something that is using up things in my pantry. So we are in a very strange time, and cooking is something that is either relaxing for you or maybe a little stressful because you're having to cook a lot more. So I wanted to do an easy one-pot meal that uses pantry staples and is what I call a no-fail recipe. So you can change up most of the proportions, you can change up the spices, you can put veggies in it, you can not put any veggies in it, and it'll still be okay. So what we're making today is called Kothary, and it's an Indian dish. It has a million different ways to spell it, and different variations. So I'm just showing you one today that I like that has a lot of vegetables and spices. You can make, it's kind of like a rice porridge. So lots of cultures have different versions of this. You can think of a juk, like a Chinese porridge. In the Middle East, they have a similar kind of rice lentil porridge. So that's what this is. I'm doing it today in my Instant Pot because it's the quickest for me. I'm scared of the pressure cooker for no good reason. There's no founding to that theory, but I just have never been comfortable with it. So thank goodness for the Instant Pot. You can do it on the stovetop. You can do it in a pressure cooker. If you just Google KHICHDI is how I spell it. Again, there's lots of spellings, but that will give you probably 100 recipes to go off of. The one I'm using today is from a website called Piping Pot Curry. That's kind of the base recipe I'm using with some variations. So let's get started, and I'll talk you through more of it as we go along. So the ingredients are basically rice, lentils, any veggies you have, and some spices. Put it all in the pot, turn it on, and you have a meal in about 20 minutes. So what I'm going to start with, so this is my Instant Pot. You can see the this side of it. I'm just putting it on saute mode and letting it warm up a little bit. And what I'm gonna put is some ghee. It's an awkward way to hold it, some ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. It's used a lot in Indian cooking. If you are vegan, you can use olive oil, coconut oil, you know, any kind of oil, basically just something to saute the veggies and the spices. So that is the ghee going in there. We're gonna let it melt, and then I am gonna put in some cumin seeds. So this, I'm sure some of you have seen this before, but this is a staple in probably every South Asian household. It's our masala box, basically just a little box that has commonly used spices. Makes it a little bit more convenient. So mine has turmeric, red chili powder, mustard seeds. I don't know why it has sesame seeds. I don't know why it's in there. Shouldn't be. Cumin seeds, which we're going to use, cumin powder, and this is cardamom and cloves. So everybody's will be a little different. I really need salt in here actually, so I might do a little switcheroo later. So we are going to let this ghee heat up, and then we are going to put some cumin seeds and some onions. And this recipe calls for ginger paste. I don't have ginger paste, but I have ginger garlic paste, and nothing goes wrong when you add more garlic to something, so I'm going with that. This is what I mean about it being versatile. If you have fresh ginger, you can use it, fresh garlic. I just like to take the easy way out sometimes, most of the time. All right, so this ghee, I'm just gonna let it heat a little bit more, because when you put the cumin seeds in, you want them to kind of sputter for 30 seconds or so, and that's how you know that they are getting cooked and releasing the flavor. The recipe has measurements. I am loosely using those measurements, but you can see them online for the exact measurements. Usually I do go with exact measurements, but you know, I said this is a versatile dish, so I'm trying to live up to that. So I'm putting about a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and I'm gonna let that, I don't know if you can hear it over the phone, but it'll start to sputter just a little bit. So the other thing I like about khichdi is that, one, it's a very comforting meal. So think about like a hot kind of rice porridge kind of thing. But it is also kind of a complete meal. So it has rice, which is your carbs. It has protein from the lentils, whatever veggies you have. Give it, you know, just more nutrients. And it's a one pot, one dish kind of meal. You can eat it by itself. You can eat it with yogurt, with pickle, so you can hear that sputtering. So now I'm gonna put, I have some onions chopped up. So I'm gonna put some onions, and I'm gonna put some of this, sorry, keep going off screen. I'm gonna put some of this ginger garlic paste, a lot, about half a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. The ginger garlic paste does sputter a little bit extra, so you just have to be a little careful. And don't mind getting some ginger garlic paste in your hair. I don't normally cook with my hair out, but thought I'd make an effort after wearing sweatpants for weeks. The first time I have not worn sweatpants and a sweatshirt and put on some makeup in weeks. So that's how much I love semester C. All right, so we're gonna let these onions cook for a second, and you don't need to fully saute things in the Instant Pot, because they get cooked along with the rest of the lentils and rice when we cook it for real. So I'm just gonna mix that up, let the onions cook just a little. And now I am gonna add in my veggies and my spices. So honestly, you can add in whatever vegetables you have on hand. That is also why I like this recipe. I have some frozen peas, I have some sweet potatoes, and I have some carrots. You could put edamame, you could put potatoes, really corn, honestly, whatever you have. So I'm gonna stir that up just a little bit, and I'm gonna put in my spices. So, actually, I'm also gonna put in some tomato. And if you don't have any vegetables, there are lots of versions of this that are literally just rice and lentils, a little turmeric, some ghee, and you're good to go. So I have onions, carrots, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, peas, and I'm gonna put in some turmeric. This is what will give it like kind of a nice yellow color. I'm gonna put in some red chili powder. I'm the worst Indian person ever, and I have a very low spice tolerance, so I'm just putting in a little bit. And I'm gonna it's a travesty. I'm using the same spoon for my spices, but oh well. Okay, mixing this up. Let the spices heat up just a little bit. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is put in my lentils, my rice, and my water. And what the Instant Pot does, basically it's an electric pressure cooker. So it just does things quickly and in one pot. So what I have here, I already mixed these, it's half a cup of rice and half a cup of lentils, and I just wash them, rinse them with cold water. I have a mix of mung dal, which is this yellow dal, and then some split green mung dal, which I don't know if you can see it, but it's the green. I really think you can use whatever, again, whatever lentils you have on hand. So have fun with it. So I'm gonna put these in. And the last thing that goes in is 3 cups of water. So let me just get that real quick. Probably should have measured that out beforehand, but that's okay. You're bearing with me. So I have about a cup, half a cup of rice, half a cup of lentils, and 3 cups of water. And I'm stirring it all in here. All the spices are in here, all the salt. I just put salt to taste. You can add salt a little bit later. It's nice to put some in here so it gets mixed in. And veggies and turmeric. And I kind of check the level of turmeric by what color the water turns. It's a pretty good color for me. You can add other spices, you can add more chilies, you can add cumin powder, you know, to your liking. So this is ready. Well, it's ready to be pressure cooked. It's not ready to eat. So I'm gonna put this on, and this is gonna go on, I'll turn this around, but it's gonna go on manual pressure for just 5 minutes. The thing with the Instant Pot that I learned really quickly is just because the cook time is 5 minutes, it doesn't mean it's done in 5 minutes. There's 2 things that have to happen. One, it has to come up to pressure. So that can take, I don't know, anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. And then depending on the recipe, either you release the pressure automatically, like it's done cooking, you release it, or you let it do a natural pressure release where it naturally will release the pressure and then you can just open it up. So this cook time is 5 minutes at high pressure and then a 10-minute natural pressure release. And there's a timer on the Instant Pot, so at 10 minutes, then if it's not released already, then I will release it. Okay, so we are gonna just put this aside, let it go. I will say this is not an ad for Instant Pot, but any electric pressure cooker, insert any electric pressure cooker there. The other reason I really like it is you can kind of, you don't have to watch something on the stove, so I'll use it to make oatmeal or rice, and I can just, and I have a daughter, so, you know, if she's running around or I'm going to get something, I'm not worried about something spilling over on the stove. I can just put it here, and I can push it away, and it does get pretty hot. Like if you touched it, it would hurt your fingers, but I can push it to the end of the counter, so little hands reaching up don't touch it by mistake. So we are gonna let that sit, and we're gonna make one more quick thing while we let this cook, because why not? So what we're gonna make is, in Gujarati, called shak, basically any vegetable that you cook. It's also called sabzi, lots of different things. Again, I was trying to pick recipes that use whatever you have in your house. So this is a way to cook any vegetable really well. I'm looking for one thing, hold on. Yeah, to cook any vegetable that you have in your house. I have recently found this cookbook. Again, this is not an endorsement or anything, I'm just sharing things that I really like. It's called Indian-ish. It's written by Priya Krishna, who is a Bon Appetit, works at Bon Appetit, also has a cookbook. And she grew up in the US, is Indian, but what I love about this book is it's written in a way that is easy for me to understand. So kind of like the layman's terms of Indian cooking. But one page that she has in here that I really like, I know you won't be able to see this, but it's kind of a flow chart of what to do, like how to make any Indian vegetable. So you have vegetable, It says you heat it with some oil, you add some of these things, so kind of like we added the cumin seeds, you can add some other things, and then onions, garlic, the vegetables, and you cook it. So it kind of gives you a formula for cooking. I am using her recipe because I'm just not, I can't just riff recipes off the top of my head. I haven't memorized things, I get nervous, I'm not super confident yet. So I still use recipes for simple things. I'm using this recipe in her book, basically a basic zucchini sabji. So I have, and what's nice about this is you need very little ingredients. If you have the spices, then you're fine. Let me move this over. Okay. All right, so I have a pan going. You can do ghee, you can do olive oil, any oil you want. I'm gonna put a little bit of ghee. I mean, cooking with ghee is really delicious, so why, again, why not? I need a towel. Okay, so I have some ghee going in here, and what I'm gonna put in here is, again, cumin. So you're starting to see a little bit of a formula. So cumin seeds are gonna go in here, and then I'm gonna put turmeric in here and some hing. So hing is known, it's asafoetida powder, and it is a very common ingredient in Indian cooking, or in South Asian cooking in general. And it is a unique ingredient because if you smell it, it smells kind of sulfuric. I think it's like a regular spice, but it just has a very interesting smell, and a very unique taste that it gives to food, which I think is delicious. So some of these spices you probably will need to get at an Indian grocery store. But again, if you don't have it, it's totally fine. It kind of just adds something to the dish, but it doesn't, it's not like you can't make the dish without it. I feel that way about Indian cooking. There's like, you know, take it or leave it for a lot of the ingredients and it'll still be good. So I'm gonna add some cumin seeds. And once these start to sputter, I don't know if that's the right word, but sputter seems appropriate for the sound that they're making. I'm gonna add some turmeric and some hing. And then I'm basically just gonna add my zucchini and let it cook. So it's, you know, you can take you can do this with potatoes, you can do it with sweet potatoes, with really any vegetable, carrots. It's just a good way to use up the produce. I've been thinking a lot about wastage and how differently we're approaching that now, you know, considering what we can find at our grocery stores, when we can get produce, and so really trying to use everything, use it well, eat a little healthy because we're at home. Okay, so we are waiting for this to sputter. While we are waiting, I will tell you that I came back from semester at sea in fall 2005, again, when I sailed as a student, and like all of you, I'm sure, I was like, how do I can't just let this go in my life, you know, how do I stay involved, how do I stay connected, not just to my voyage, but to the program as a whole. So I got really involved as an alumni. I helped start the first, our Young Alumni Council, and I was really involved in our alumni leadership, so thinking about ways to engage alumni in recruitment and fundraising, in just community building, and then that transitioned into my last few years where I've served on Semester at Sea's Board of Trustees, which has been an incredible experience with incredible people, and I feel very fortunate for that opportunity. And I think, when I think about Semester at Sea, it taught me so many things, but the thing that it taught me the most was the value of community and how to build community wherever you are. So that, you think about it, you're on a ship for 3 months with the same group of people. So this is the hing and the turmeric I just put in. I'm gonna let them just bloom in the oil a little bit before I put the zucchini. So yeah, you're on a ship with people for 3 months, crew, faculty, staff, students, the kids of faculty and staff, and it's a little village, and you learn the value of building community, that you can build community quickly when you have this kind of shared bond, and you can and that community stays, you know, it stays for the rest of your life. So it doesn't matter that it was only 3 months, that it's just a really strong community. So that is one of the things Semester at Sea taught me, is how to go somewhere, build community, find people. It also taught me, and I don't do as good of a job of it now, but to value uninterrupted conversation. So especially, you know, back when I sailed, you know, everybody loves hearing that, but back when I sailed, we did have Wi-Fi, but it was only available in public areas on the ship, so the computer lab, the library. So if anybody needed Wi-Fi, they had to be out of the rooms. So it just meant that people were out of their cabins a lot, and they were hanging out all around the ship, and there was just so much opportunity for quality conversation, not interrupted by our phones. And that was just a really valuable lesson and just a good reminder in that time. All right, so this, I added the zucchini. So again, the ghee, it was cumin seeds. I added turmeric, and I added some hing, so asafoetida. And then I added some I added some zucchini, and you can see it getting, kind of getting the color of the turmeric. So this, I'm just gonna mix this up. Probably should have used a bigger pan, but I'm gonna mix this up until it's all coated. I am also gonna put some salt. And then I'm gonna let this cook for 15-20 minutes, just to get the zucchini a little tender. And I will finish it with some lemon juice. And I don't have any more tomatoes, so I was actually gonna make something totally different today, but our grocery delivery didn't work out. So it's a good example of just using what you have in your pantry, in your fridge. So I saw 2 zucchini, and I thought this should be good. So I am going to stir this a little bit more, cover it, let it cook for 15-20 minutes. If I had tomatoes, I would add some chopped tomatoes, but I'm just going to add some lime juice. Maybe groceries will come while this is cooking. That would be serendipitous, but I doubt it. I say that in jest. I have a lot of respect and admiration for all of the people out there who are delivering groceries, doing Instacart, you know, working, our essential workers, our farm workers, people working in grocery stores, you know, just all over the place. Hospitals, nurses, doctors, crew. The crew equivalent of those hospitals often get overlooked. So that not just the people, you know, treating patients, but people who are cleaning the facilities, people who are doing intake of patients, registration, all of that is just, you know, thank you. I will just say that. So I'm going to let this cook, and I will be back in a few minutes. The Instant Pot came up to pressure, so you can see it's probably not a good idea to touch it while you're doing this. For me, empty bowl, didn't break. So, okay, I'm not going to, you can't see this, but it's come up to pressure, so now the 5-minute timer is counting down to 4. So this should be done, it'll be done cooking in 4 minutes, and then I'm going to let it naturally release for 10 minutes. And I will come back and show you what both of these look like.